Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Michael Myers Fanatic back with another video. And as you can see, I have on the screen the Notorious Lakeshore Strangler Charles Lee Ray. A subscriber of mine, Jules Sains, the fan fiction writer, asked me to examine the life of Charles Lee Ray, to give my theory on why I think he's the way he is and how I think he became that way. I think Charles probably started out as a normal kid. And when I read his file on the fandom website, it says that I think his father was an alcoholic that abused he and his mother. I think that this probably caused Charles to run away, but as a teenager, not as a young kid. I think he ran away either as a teenager or an adolescent. Maybe he was about to turn 18 or something like that. And then what I believe happened is I believe he probably found this guy, John. I believe that's what the guy's name was. The guy from the original Child's Play film. And I think Charles had a fascination with death. Maybe he saw somebody get killed or something like that. Maybe he killed somebody and he got away with it and nobody ever knew. And maybe he said to John, hey, what do you think happens when a person dies? And I believe John said to him, well, when you die, your soul doesn't necessarily have to go to heaven or hell. You can keep it here. You can transfer your soul into different objects or creatures or what have you. And Charles probably said, well, what do you mean? And John probably said to Charles, well, here, I'll show you. I think Charles spent lots of time with this guy, with this guy John. And I think they probably became good friends. And see, here's the thing. I don't think Charles, aka Chucky, I don't think he started out as a bad guy. I don't. I think the lust for power overcame Charles, and that's how he became a serial killer. I think he got curious with the power, and he just became drunk with power. I think he was just curious, and he said, how does this work and how does that work? And if you remember, John said that Charles perverted everything that John taught him and used it for evil. So I don't think Charles was inherently evil. I think he just became that way. I think he might have gotten in with the wrong crowd. Perhaps he met Eddie Caputo while living on the streets as a runaway. I think that's how he got in touch with John, the voodoo priest or whatever John was. I think he met Eddie Caputo on the streets as a runaway. And what happened was, Eddie said, hey, I know this guy. He's into all kinds of weird stuff. And, Charles probably said, well, take me to him. I want to meet him. Eddie probably took him there. And then that's when Charles started asking questions. I believe for whatever reason, Charles claimed his first victim. Whatever year that happened to be, I don't know. But he strangled one victim, and I think he became addicted to it. He didn't know how to stop. Because they say the first time you do it, you might feel guilty about it, you know. But then the second time it becomes a little easier, and then the third time a little easier, and so on and so forth. And I think Charles just kept doing it until he was eventually caught. I believe that he was. I think Eddie didn't intend on hurting Charles. I think Eddie got scared. And that's why he abandoned Charles. And that's when Charles decided, I'm going to get you for abandoning me. As I said, I don't believe Charles wanted to be a serial killer. I just think he started out with one and he just didn't know how to stop. The whole thing with Charles was that he's what they call a lust killer. You know, he started one time and then it just got stronger and stronger and stronger until it simply overcame him. You know, sometimes a person's own arrogance can be their downfall. And I think that's what happened with this guy. The same thing with the voodoo powers. I think once he met John, because Charles was looking for a father figure because he didn't have that father figure at home. So I think he found a father figure in this guy, John. And I think once John taught him about the voodoo powers, like with serial killing, I think Charles began to lust after it. And once again, just like with the killing, his lust for the voodoo power overcame him. And that's when he started using it for evil. That's my theory on how Charles Lee Ray became Chucky. I just wanted to come on here and give my thoughts. So I'll go over it one more time. I think he was mistreated at home. And I think he ran away and he met Eddie Caputo. And Eddie Caputo introduced him to John. And then Charles probably said, hey, you know, what happens when we die? And then John showed him all this black magic and stuff like that. And he began to lust after it and use it for perversion. And then as far as the serial killings go, the first killing might have been out of necessity, or at least what Charles deemed to be necessity. And then as he started claiming more and more lives, I think it just became easier to do as the time went on. Eventually his own arrogance caught up with him. So I think that's how he became Chucky. I want to thank you guys for listening to my theory. I want to thank my subscriber, Jules Saints, aka Resident of Collinwood. It was a very interesting topic. Thank you so much for listening. I'm the Michael Myers Fanatic. I approve this message. That's my theory on how Charles Lee Ray, Chucky, became the Notorious Lakeshore Strangler. Thank you very much.